I think that the ancient yogis and different mystics and mystery schools and the ones throughout time who've been in the inner journey that developed the maps of yoga or Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine or Egyptian yogas, or we could go on and on throughout the world and throughout the history of the planet. I think essentially all the ones who went in discovered the same territory. Now, they may have come out with different names for the map and different ways to find the map, but essentially it's all the same territory. And I think the beauty of that is that we have this tangible location in which awakening occurs, in which the awakening in a way of what it really means to be here, to incarnate, to fully take residence in this mystery suit, right? And for me, I've studied lots of those maps and I've been in those inner terrains, but I would say most fundamentally what touched me and what a lot of these practices come from is by studying embryology and biodynamic cranial sacral. And in a way, the embryo represents the original motif of wholeness. And what we would call in biodynamic cranial, biodynamics is basically referring to a process of wholeness. And so I think it's like we don't even have to look to mystical traditions or spiritual traditions or religions or any of these external maps. It's actually encoded in the very creation and formation of our human design. And so that's really why I point us in this direction, is I think that it's deeper than anything. It's like it's so core, no pun intended. We all have on some level that original memory of wholeness that's prior even to the development of our nervous system. And so when we can access that on a felt sense level, when it will trump trauma, it will trump fragmentation, it will trump separation. It's just that we've all also been born into a culture and we're alive at a time in evolution that we have a lot of unintegrated trauma. We have a lot of, disconnection from ourselves, from our bodies, from who we really are, a lot of misperceptions of reality. And so that process of reclaiming the truth of who we are, I feel that it needs to have a bodily location, because this is where we are. We're not out in some abstract thing called consciousness. We're each actually here in a body. Now that's obviously included in a part of this larger consciousness, but this is where we have access to our own agency and our own core capacities to perceive. So, I think in a Pith's way to say it, focusing your attention on the core, like I said in the beginning, maybe you weren't here, but I was talking about attention and how the nature of attention is it's always looking for a place to rest. And we tend to be, through our conditioning, we're constantly trying to fix attention on impermanence and try to find security or safety or continuity on an impermanent reality. And so when we do that, we basically have an equation of suffering. When we let attention come home to resting in our core central axis, it is the axis where we can connect with more of what we could call our eternal nature, who we are prior to that, right? It's kind of like the location where we have an address in both worlds. We're here in this temporal realm, and we're also connected to that eternal access. So I found in my own life that the stability that we're seeking. That is really the only place that we can actually, in a tangible, continuous way, give ourselves that. We may have temporary places and relative levels that we can create and rest into that are also important in our lives. But in terms of your relationship with yourself in a really fundamental core way, the more we rest attention in this central axis, the more that it will actually vivify and get stronger and more stable, so that whatever environment we're in, we have more and more capacity to actually not get, pulled out of ourselves into it, leave ourselves.